Welcome, podcast, where we tackle today's biggest challenge in technology and cybersecurity. Our topic for this episode is rise of AI-driven cyber threats, a critical issue shaping the security landscape. With us today is Mohan Sundaram Krishnaswamy, digital officer in Nokia, here to explain how AI is transforming cyber threats and what we can do to stay ahead. Welcome, Mohan.
Thanks, Thierry, for having me here. Have a very good evening, you and then Kavita, both of you. I'm really excited to be part of this podcast to discuss this very important and very prompt and timely topic on AI security, particularly the AI-driven cyber threats and the lessons learned from that.
Okay, let's start with the basics, Mohan. How is AI changing the nature of cyber threats?
Well, indeed, AI is revolutionizing the cyber threats in a big way. I would say that it simply increased the threat vectors and the number of ways in which an enterprise or an organization can be attacked. But I would like to pay specific attention to three key ways in which AI can create disruptions. First is AI powered phishing. In this case, attackers use AI to craft highly personalized emails and
Mhm,
generate deepfake audio or video. These
mhm.
methods primarily make scams incredibly convincing and hard to spot ones for normal users. Second is ransomware as a service. AI automates the creation and deployment of ransomware, enabling even unskilled actors to launch devastating attacks. Third one, what I could think of is autonomous attacks. AI systems can independently identify vulnerabilities, exploit them, extract data, and immediately launch attacks without any human intervention. These three are really deadly combination. Particularly, this combination is bringing precision and scalability for the attackers.
Oh, that's powerful combinations, Mohan. Precision and scalability also. Okay. Are traditional defense enough to combat these threats?
Well, unfortunately, no. It's a no is the answer. Uh, Traditional measures, it is basically often used as reactive. For example, you have the antivirus systems or IDS systems. Typically, they use signature-based detection systems. They are taking more time to identify after the attack is launched, and then they're not very effective when it comes to detecting the AI triggered or AI powered attacks. Simply, they are unable to keep pace with the speed and then the adaptability of the AI powered attacks. Organizations really need to rethink and identify multiple strategies to stay ahead.
Okay. So, based on major AI related security incidents, what lessons stand out the most, Mohan?
Okay, well, in fact, lessons are numerous, but I could think of something like two or three top lessons. The first one is the ability to identify an attack and the ability to react fast. So the speed matters. AI is indeed allowing the attackers to exploit the vulnerabilities immediately after they are identified. So the speed really matters here. Second, what I could think of is the evolving threats. We should have a constant monitoring and a tab on the new evolving threat space, particularly the data poisoning of the models, where attackers primarily corrupt the training data and create undesired outcomes from the models. Similarly, deepfakes are also creating new attack vectors. So, constantly keeping a tab on the evolving threats is very important. Third, what I could think of is human vulnerabilities. See, even in the age of AI, the social engineering remains a significant weakness for the enterprise, the users in enterprise. And and these are the three critical lessons. Particularly, I would like to highlight.
Mm.
Uh, particularly, I would like to highlight.
Yeah. So, as you said, it is resilience is main thing. That was a very good point. What actionable steps can organization take to strengthen their security posture, Mohan?
Okay, so primarily, this is what I could think of. Adopting a AI-driven security, particularly the tools that make use of AI. For example, tools like Dark Trace or CrowdStrike Falcon, they can detect and respond to anomalies almost in real time. Of course, the CrowdStrike Falcon very recently had a cloud outage, because of some uncontrolled code download to, key aviation companies. But
Mhm.
that is only an aberration. But using the AI-driven tools, IPS, IDS tools, that helps the enterprises to detect such threats and then respond to anomalies in a real time. Second, continuous training of employees. No organization can take this light, particularly when it comes to recognizing the AI-powered threats like phishing and then the deepfakes, all of them. Regularly assessing vulnerabilities, conducting routine risk assessments, constant threat assessments, and using penetration testing, and then all these measures are required to stay ahead of the attackers and then the attack vectors.
Okay. Okay. I like the answer on training your employees, right? Because the message should go to the employees so that they are educated on the threats. And what are the best practices for preventing AI-driven cyber threats, and why is a layered approach is so important?
Okay, see, there is no single foolproof solution that is capable of handling all the AI powered or AI triggered threats. So, an organization needs to engage multiple strategies at the same time, a layered approach. How the organizations can build robust defenses, we could think of a few topics. The first one is governance and policy, where the organizations clearly establish a policy that is capable of attacking or tackling the AI initiated or AI triggered security threats. In the event of the supply chain disruptions, how do you secure your supply chains, from possible supply chain networks and threats? And the most important thing is vetting the third party components rigorously. Typically, in a business cycle, there are multiple third party processes that are used, third party elements that are used. So, vetting the third party components rigorously is key to ensure the governance and then policy framework is in place. Second, what I could think of is AI powered detection. Use AI enabled tools to detect the AI initiated attacks. Also, never let up on the monitoring, so that your ability to detect and the ability to react in a real time, in the fastest possible manner is key to it. Third, human training. Just training is not sufficient. Conducting frequent drills and awareness sessions and making employees spot any suspicious activity is key to it. Last but not least could be collaboration. We need to have, see, this is an uncharted territory for the whole industry. We need to collaborate and then network with our peers in the industry, share the intelligence and then receive on how they tackle the emerging threats. By combining all these measures, what I've just now gone through, organizations can create resilient defense, possible defenses against AI powered attacks.
That's a real good suggestion you are given, Mohan. It's clear that blending technology with human vigilance is key here. Would you agree?
Well, my advice is to stay proactive.
Okay.
Absolutely. The cyber threat landscape is evolving rapidly. I would like to take an example
Mhm.
from the World Economic Forum. See, there is an ongoing World Economic Forum 2025 that's concluding on 24th of January, where the top CEOs have come up with their concerns, four or five top concerns. First, they are saying cyber espionage and IP theft as the major concern impacting most of the enterprises globally, where the intellectual property threat and cyber espionage are seen or voiced as the first top concern. Second, the impact on the supply chain networks and the disruptions. cost, that's a major concern coming up as a major concern. And the ability to react and then restore the supply chain network is indeed complex. And there is a complexity and lack of visibility into suppliers and the third party security measures that is introducing more risks. This is the second top risk highlighted by the CEOs. The
Mhm.
third one that's adding to the risks is the geopolitical tensions. Almost 60% of the organizations report geopolitical tensions have influenced the cybersecurity strategies what they're employing. The
Mhm.
CEOs are particularly concerned about the cyber espionage and again theft of sensitive information and intellectual property.
Okay.
The fourth one is rapid adoption of AI and shortage of the AI skill sets. 66% of the organizations expect AI to significantly impact cybersecurity, whereas
Mhm.
37% have already processes to assess the security of the AI tools before deployment. Also, there is a significant gap in the skills availability in AI, when it comes to handling AI powered cybersecurity threat. That's a major concern. Most of the organizations needs to focus on bridging the skill gap. Of course, last but not least is the fragmented regulatory frameworks. Still, we don't have, yeah, universally acceptable regulatory framework when it comes to handling the AI powered security threats.
Okay. So before we wrap up, what's the one piece of advice you would give to our listeners?
Well, the I would say that yeah, combination of advices that I would like to give as a key takeaway. There is an accelerated threat landscape that users need to constantly look at and then keep updating themselves in a more complex environment. Engage AI based security tools to keep your cyber defenses up to date and also to improve your ability to react in the fastest possible manner. Always emphasize on early detection and focus on maintaining the ethical considerations, particularly when it comes to the development of the AMS and your applications as part of the your AMS system. These combination of key takeaways, what I have just now suggested, helps an organization to stay ahead of and protect the organization and the enterprise from possible cyber threats.
Okay. So with this, we are thanks for giving great advice, Mohan. Thanks for having you in this podcast. Thank you.
Thank you. I really would like to thank you and Kavita for giving me this opportunity. Really enjoyed the questions. We can do a follow up on this. Thank you very much.